Chapter 21 The phone call. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Back to the time when Su Chen was waiting for Chu Chensi downstairs, who was busy getting ready to go out with him. Mom. Son, what happened? Why did you call me so early in the day? Su Chen. Mom, I have now realized many things. I was naive before and couldn't understand your thoughts when you used to tell me that Mei Qing was not a good thing. Su Chen. Mom, my eyes are finally opened and I can see everything clearly. There's no need to have a marriage contract with Mei Qing. Mom. Are you sure? Is it a prank, right? You won't wake up tomorrow and say that you want that girl back. It took you nearly 3 years to make her family agree to a marriage contract with you. Su Chen's mother, after hearing her son's words, her mood instantly lifted up. She always wanted someone of equal status to become Su Chen's main wife. In the past, she tried her best to convince her son that Mei Qing was not a good thing. Even after chasing her for so long, she was unresponsive to her son's feelings. In her opinion, she took advantage of Su family's connections to make her own business bloom. Su Chen. Mom, rest assured. Given my handsome face, just one word and so many top girls are willing to become my girlfriend, why should I spend so much of my time on this Mei Qing who has always been cold to me? Mom. Oh son, your mind is finally working right. At that moment, his mother became emotional and her sobs could be heard. Su Chen felt a little guilty. In the past, just to fulfill his role he acted as a licking dog, ignoring his mother completely. Su Chen. Don't cry, Mom. I promise I will come to the capital next week and spend some time with you. Hearing her son's words, she finally stopped crying. Mom. Son, it's easy. I will right away ask someone to go to the Mei family's house and tell them that the marriage contract is no more. Su Chen. Mom, if it was only the marriage contract then I wouldn't have bothered you. His mom suddenly realized something. Mom. Yo, that you mean? Su Chen. Yes, in the past, just to impress Mei Qing and her family, I sent a lot of projects to their hands. I even helped them get many cheap deals. If it was not for my favor, how could a third-rate family become a giant in such a short time? But I want them to know that what can be given can also be taken back. There was silence on the phone. After some seconds, taking a deep breath, his mother spoke again. Mom. Since you have decided, then I will support you to the fullest. Right now, in almost all our industries we have some form of cooperation with the Mei Group. Actually, now that you talk about it, it's a fact that we account for almost 80% of Mei Group's business. Su Chen. Yes, I want to divide a line between us. How fast can we cut off everything with them? Mom. Canceling various agreements will force us to pay millions in penalties, but it's not much. Our Su Group is the top business chain in the entire country. Water some $1 million in front of my son's happiness. Su Chen, after realizing that the heroines could hear his thoughts, was no longer the same as before. He quickly realized the reason Mei Qing was so adamant when he wanted to divorce her. He had already guessed that she wanted to stay close to him to take advantage by knowing the plot in advance. After all, who doesn't want to hear what will happen to them in future? After interacting with Chu Chensi, he has become much more careful and rarely thinks about the future plot regarding the heroines in his mind, lest they hear his inner voice and take advantage of him. Mom. Don't worry, son, everything will be done within half an hour. Su Chen. I knew, my mom is the best. The call was cut after his mom assured him that from now on Mei Group will have nothing to do with them. An hour had already passed. Just like this, Su Chen calculated that Chu Chensi should be coming downstairs anytime soon. While he was sitting and waiting for her leisurely, his actions had already affected countless people. Inside the Mei family house, everyone was tense. A family meeting with all the elders was called abruptly. Just half an hour ago, someone related to the Su family visited their home and handed them the documents confirming the unilateral cancellation of the marriage contract Mei Qing had with Su Chen. they were shocked and wanted to negotiate, but a single call from Su Chen's mother, who talked very domineeringly, told them that something very serious had happened. Before they could figure out what happened, they started getting call after call from their company. As they heard the details, their scalps started getting numbed. The construction project with the Su family worth $900 million is cancelled. The joint jewelry venture with the Su family worth $500 million is cancelled. The pharmaceuticals business with the Su family worth $300 million is cancelled. The five-star hotel chains jointly run with the Su family worth at least $1 billion were abruptly closed down. This was not it. Soon the calls from the secretary started coming. The banks want their loans back, the fire department and water department think there is something wrong with our designs and want to inspect everything, the workers want an increase in wages, else all of them will quit. The Su family deserved to be called a behemoth, with the strong financial and political power in the country it held. Within an hour the entire Mei family was brought to its knees. Feeling the gravity of the situation, all family members were called to a sudden meeting, and everyone was looking at Mei Qing. All had a single thought in their mind. What did this girl do to anger the Su family? Mei Qing was sharp, and seeing everything she quickly realized the only one who could do this was Su Chen. She was filled with anger, and without wasting a second, she directly dialed Su Chen's number. In her mind, she still had the previous impression of Su Chen chasing after her. So what, if he got some cheats and is a villain now? In her mind, she can hear his inner thoughts and has an absolute advantage of knowing the plot in advance. She just needs to say a single word with a little bit of smile, and even if it's plucking stars, Su Chen will rush to do things for her. But the reality was sure to disappoint her. In the last few days, Su Chen's temperament had matured a lot, and after knowing the truth from Chu Chensi, he was no longer the same as before. Su Chen, who was waiting for Chu Chensi on the sofa, saw his phone ringing. Seeing the caller's name, there was no surprise on his face. After ringing for a few seconds, the call was finally connected. Mei Qing. Su Chen, what are you doing? Immediately stop everything or my family will lose a lot of money. Her voice was loud and sharp, but before she could speak more she got interrupted. Su Chen. I am just taking back everything I gave to you. What's wrong with it? Mei Qing. Su Chen, you. There was a light laughter as Su Chen's tone became playful. Su Chen. Are you surprised? If it was not for the fact that you suddenly heard my inner thoughts and knew about your fate in advance, you would have long annulled our marriage contract and ran away with that Chu Fang, right? Bang! Like a volcano, an explosion erupted in Mei Qing's mind. The thought that Su Chen knows that she can hear his inner voice completely took her aback. Before she could speak, Su Chen's voice interrupted her once again. Su Chen. Mei Qing, it's already many years since I started chasing after you. But you were always indifferent to me, never paid any attention to my feelings. Even though I foolishly tried my best to fulfill all your impossible demands, all I got were your sharp mocking remarks. Since there are no feelings between us, let's put an end to this. Mei Qing's eyes widened, the shock was too much for her. She thought everything was a prank, and the very next second Su Chen would explain everything to her, but Su Chen directly hung up on her. She tried calling again repeatedly, but all she got was the response from the call operator. The number you have dialed is switched off. Yes, after hanging up on her, Su Chen directly turned off his phone. He didn't want his time with Chu Chensi to be disturbed. Chapter 22 Routines Everywhere, unedited. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Another long chapter, here we go. You are really looking hot. So, you heard what I said? Asked Su Chen with a burger in his hand. Nope, replied Chu Chensi, her hands were holding her favorite strawberry-flavored ice. Cream. Chu Chensi, you're looking way too hot. This short knee-length skirt, tsk, do you perhaps plan to seduce me tonight? Chu Chensi's face immediately flushed red. Seeing her reaction, Su Chen was sure she heard his inner voice. I see. I finally found the loophole. After experimenting a few times on Chu Chensi, Su Chen finally found the trick. Other than something related to the system, as long as he does not mention the heroine's name, his inner thoughts won't be transferred to the heroines. He was very happy with this discovery. With this loophole at least his privacy can be safeguarded. Seeing the genuine smile on Su Chen's face, Chu Chensi unknowingly felt happy. But what do we plan to do in the amusement park? I am not good with rides. Chu Chensi's face had a complex emotion. Since childhood, she had a fear of heights, and seeing some daring rides in the amusement park her heart inexplicably sped up. It's okay, don't you trust me? Su Chen directly offered her his hand. After all, feelings must be cultivated from the start. He knew Chu Chensi had a very important role in the later half of the story, plus she did not play much role in harming him in previous resets. Therefore, he was willing to put some time and effort into getting her completely. Moreover, who doesn't want a virtuous wife like girl, who is willing to spoil you with all her affection? Girls like Chu Chensi are hidden gems, because of not much contact with the opposite gender since childhood. Once someone manages to enter their heart, they will never let them go so easily. Their heart is like blank piece of paper, and once someone understands this fact, with very little interaction, in no time they can write their own name all over their hearts. As a villain you must know. Pure girls are the easiest to deceive, and coax. Su Chen knew as long as the cards were played right, things would be productive. Isn't it just a matter of playing routines? Chu Chensi looked deeply at the big hand offered to her. There was some struggle in her mind, but after thinking of everything that happened up till now, she put her hand in his and let him take the lead. After that, the things that happened were very pretty obvious. They spent their day enjoying everything the amusement park could offer. First, they went to play shooting games, then they went to the merry-go round. Played some carnival games. At first, Chu Chensi, after seeing all this for the first time, was timid, but with Su Chen taking the lead, her guard eventually lowered. Soon, she was filled with excitement. She even constantly pestered that they must play some games so that they can win the stuffed toys like a big teddy bear, a big white rabbit. Which were offered as rewards. Her heart was set free as she indulged herself to the fullest. Later they played bumper cars, water slides, and in the evening finally ended up boating. Looking at the sunset reflecting upon the water, her heart was filled with indescribable peace. Her hair with a deep shade of red matched perfectly with the moment, giving a feeling as if a bride was sitting in her boudoir. She secretly glanced at Su Chen from the corner of her eyes, who was rowing the boat to reach back to the shore. Su Chen noticed her secretly peeking a glance at him. In response he winked at her, causing her to smile foolishly. There was a thought in Chu Chensi's mind. What if I can spend the rest of my life like this? Su Chen, who was looking at her, noticed the abnormality. Her loyalty, which was stagnated at 90, started soaring up. 91, 92, 93, 94, 95. With his ability, he could see that her information had already changed. Chu Chensi heroine, loyalty 0.95, just a little push and in her eyes, all her world shall revolve around you. Sure enough, as long as the routines are played smoothly, the results are assured. No doubt, the cliché hero saving the beauty resulting in the heroine falling for the hero always works in all those romance stories. Su Chen, what do we do next? It's getting late, we should go back now. Chu Chensi felt that they already spent the day the best they could and should return home. Oh Chensi, how can the trip to the amusement park be completed without riding the legendary Ferris wheel? No, I am afraid of heights. Now don't act like this. See, we already skipped the haunted house since you were scared of those fake ghosts. Now we ain't skipping this. But. No buts. Su Chen abruptly took her hand and pulled her once again. Because of the drastic increase in favorability, she didn't resist this time and just hoped everything would be fine. But before both of them could move, they heard a voice in their head. As expected, no one can escape my charm. Chu Fong was swaggering towards them with his hands around an average-looking beauty. Ha ha ha, sure enough, if I take things seriously nothing can go wrong. Chasing after Mei Qing directly, now that's not the way we should go. First, you need to seduce her secretary and charm her. Once you bed the secretary, you will have a spy planted beside Mei Qing. Won't it be easy then? The secretary, who is your own woman, will speak well of you in front of her and will even praise yourself. She will share Mei Qing's daily schedule with you, and with some deliberate coincidence, you can have many encounters with that iceberg beauty. That time Mei Qing's heart will flutter, she will think that both of us are tied by a bond of fate. That's why we always end up meeting together. Seeing such an outstanding person like me around her, she will automatically become interested in me. That Su Chen is nothing in front of me, haha. Both Su Chen and Chu Chenxi felt disgusted with Chu Fang's thoughts. He looked at her while she looked at him without blinking. Seeing the change in her eyes, Su Chen was quick to figure out everything. So you guys can even hear Chu Fang. Like an obedient girl, Chu Chenxi kept nodding. Oh gosh. Thankfully, I found out about this thing today lest I suffer a loss in the future. At this point, Chu Fang, who had an average-looking cheap secretary in his arms, noticed Su Chen and Chu Chenxi standing together. Call it the protagonist's perverted halo or his overpowered luck, within an instant he realized the girl's identity. There was no doubt about it. But that was not it. His pupils dilated when he saw her holding hands with that bastard Su Chen. Like a fuse which was blown, his mind suddenly became blank. He couldn't believe that it was real. His childhood sweetheart, who promised him that she will marry him when they grow up, was holding hands with his enemy. She was looking at his enemy with such gentle eyes that he had never seen the whole childhood he spent with her. Her body was closer to him like they were a couple on a date. No, he roared at the top of his lungs. No, Chu Chenxi will marry me, she can't deceive me. Yes, she must have been fooled by this treacherous Su Chen. Hearing his thoughts, all the heroines who were secretly eavesdropping, quickly figured out what was happening. Chu Chenxi, at this time, had no affection for Chu Fang. She had already realized that he had long changed into a different person. She was afraid that his actions would cause Su Chen, standing beside her, to misunderstand. She looked at Su Chen, she gritted her teeth and made up her mind. She knew that she did not want her future to be entangled with this Chu Fang. After spending so much time together with Su Chen, her heart already had his name written at various places. The favorability of 95 was no joke. Chu Fang, don't overthink. Even though your parents adopted me when I was small. After you left the country secretly everything changed. I was alone without any support. Your parents tried to raise me as your future bride, it was so choking for me to live in such a forced environment. Only I know how much hardships I secretly endured. No family support, no money, no education, I had to live life very carefully so that I would not end up offending someone big. I spent the past days with Su Chen and realized my true feelings. I want to spend my future with him, not with you. Please leave us alone. Chu Chenxi felt as if all the strength in her body was used up in speaking those words. From inside, she was scared, but she knew that she must put up a strong face, otherwise Chu Fang would keep bothering her. She was a pure girl who had never argued or fought against others. It was hard for her to suddenly cut off completely with Chu Fang. Even though his parents adopted her and gave her a chance to grow up, at this point she can only feel sorry for them. Sorry that she can't be a wife for their son, sorry that her mind already belongs somewhere else. After speaking everything, she could no longer keep up and her steps staggered as she subconsciously fell. But instead of falling, she felt a strong pair of hands holding her firmly in an embrace. She mustered up the remaining strength to look upward, she saw the smiling face of Su Chen as if it was saying that you did well. Her lips arched up as she looked at him once again, there were already some tears coming from the corner of her eyes. It was such a mysterious feeling, she felt for the first time. She slowly felt the surroundings disappear from her vision, leaving only the gaze of his. She felt her soul suddenly rejoicing, all the cells in her body were filled with excitement as adrenaline rushed to her mind. It was like the trees in drought suddenly become happy with the arrival of rain, birds chirping merrily upon the arrival of monsoon. She tried to control, but she no longer had control over her emotions. Dum dum dum, her heartbeat was getting so wild that she thought her heart would jump out of her chest. She felt a strong urge to return the hug. It was as if she shared some mysterious connection with him. Favorability started increasing once again. 95, 96, 97 Chu Chishi. Heroine, loyalty. 97, will always stand with the host. No, the moment Chu Fang saw Chu Chenxi lying obediently in Su Chen's embrace, something just snapped inside his mind. Chenxi only belongs to me, only I am the person that is eligible to have a harem. He directly pushed away Mei Qing's secretary who was in his arms and tore off his shirt. Let's fight. Su Chen, I will kill you today. His eyes were blood-shot, his expressions hideous. Like a wild beast he jumped directly towards Su Chen, he no longer cared about law and order. In his eyes he had already sentenced Su Chen to death. He is the hero of his story. The humiliation of stealing his wife must be paid back in blood. But before he could approach Su Chen, countless bodyguards who were hiding in the surroundings appeared and blocked him. Yes, as a villain, how could Su Chen be careless? He is not some protagonist who enjoys the bullshit luck. Since the moment he left the house, his security team was secretly following him so that no one could mess with their young master. How can he deserve to be called the sole heir of a behemoth like Su Group if he can't have such lackeys? Seeing the large number of bodyguards appearing, Chu Fang's expression became savage. Su Chen, are you still a man? Come fight me 1v1, Chenxi only belongs to me. Seeing Chu Fang's bloodthirsty face, Chu Chenxi became scared and out of instinct held Su Chen even tighter. Chu Fang, leave me alone, I have nothing to do with you, cried Chu Chenxi. Chu Fang, it's my ability that I can have such bodyguards. Why should I dirty my hands beating you, when the people around me are enough? Replied Su Chen calmly. Chu Fang quickly reassessed the situation. There were 50 bodyguards. There was no way he could win a melee against such a number. He had already spent some days in the hospital because of being beaten by Mei Qing's bodyguards and knew the strength of such people first-hand. If these people beat him, he was sure to get a lot of broken bones. Seeing Chenxi lying in his enemy's embrace so affectionately, there was no guarantee that she would follow him even after beating them. Yes, I must come back with a backup. Without wasting any second he shouted loudly. Su Chen, next time I meet you will be the moment that you die. And, you Chenxi, that you better wait. Once I take care of this bastard Su Chen, I will tie you to the bed and will teach you such a lesson that even your dead mother will remember. He didn't even care about the cheap, Mei Qing's secretary that he had kicked away in anger and decisively ran away. In his eyes, Su Chen is a rich. Second generation who plays tricks and is full of deceit. If he catches him with his bodyguards he may even die, must escape quickly. In both Su Chen and Chu Chenxi's eyes, Chu Fang disappeared without even looking back. /n guys, I made an auxiliary chapter and put the character pics in it, check them, you will surely like it. Also seeing the pics, you will yourself get the spoiler about what will happen to the said characters. Especially to Lu Ruer and Mei Qing Hehe. Chapter 23, The Night Everyone Shall Remember. You are listening at novelfull.audio. /n I really went out of my way and wrote such a big ch, you can think of it as Halloween special in advance, haha, since Chu Fan has already run away, let's do what we were doing. But. There was still some worry on Chu Chenxi's face. Come on, in the future you're gonna meet a lot of such people, if you get bothered by them so easily then our happy life will be affected. Even though she was naive, she was not so naive to the extent that she couldn't understand what he meant accompanied with such an expression. Seeing the knowing smile on his face, Chenxi knew Su Chen's mind was full of shameless and perverted things. She could only look down to hide her flushed face. He is getting cocky, she stomped her feet while muttering slowly. Oh, what is our Chensi thinking with such a red face? I am not thinking anything bad. I ain't a pervert like you, Chu Chensi glared at him fiercely. Okay. Su Chen knew that if he teased her more she may end up crying. Such a pure girl must be cherished and spoiled slowly according to your taste. Nothing is shameless when you are with the one you like. Isn't it natural for the people who like each other to do such things that you secretly imagined in your mind? Saying he pulled Chensi without giving her a chance to refute. And the moment finally came, the thing everyone looks up to when they visit an amusement park, the legendary Ferris wheel. The cabin was small, there was a small speaker inside with a love song playing. Seeing Chu Chensi's shaking shoulders, Su Chen knew her fear of heights was starting to take hold of her. She wanted to ask Su Chen to sit beside her instead of opposite her to feel some sense of security. But if I ask him, will he feel that I am shameless and perhaps thinking something lewd? But he himself said that there is nothing shameful when you are with the one you like, right? Chu Chensi, at this moment was filled with various conflicting thoughts. Even if it was such simple things, unknown to her, little by little, her thinking process had already started to be overwritten and tuned according to Su Chen's taste. Seeing her puzzled like this, Su Chen smiled as he got up and sat beside her, giving her a sense of security which she desired. The cabin door closed as the Ferris wheel started. Both of them had a tacit understanding and maintained the silence as they savored the serenity the moment offered. As they were about to reach the topmost point, Chensi closed her eyes as she looked outside through the glass window. It's okay, I am here. She suddenly felt a warm hand upon her shoulder. Su Chen's voice was devoid of any emotion, but it didn't matter to Chensi anymore. She just needed some sort of support, and Su Chen played the role perfectly. Just the feeling that someone was there behind her even if the sky was falling gave her the courage to open her timid eyes once again. At last, when they finally reached the summit, the Ferris wheel suddenly stopped. Chensi was quick to notice the abnormality, but seeing Su Chen's confident face she knew there must be something more to it. Chensi. Why? Yes, under her eyes, he pulled a premium credit card with hundreds of millions of dollars inside and put it in her hands. What's the meaning of this? Although, she knew he was not a good person, but this was too much. She was not with him because she wanted some money. I'm not here for your money. Her face was a little flustered and a little angry, staring at Su Chen, feeling inexplicably uncomfortable. I know. I just want my girl to be able to enjoy everything she wants, there is no need to depend on anyone else. Don't think too much, it's normal for a boyfriend to want his girlfriend to have a better life. Boyfriend, things are going too fast. Oh, who was so courageous down there when she shouted? Chu Fong, please leave me, I am already happy with Su Chen. There was a feeling of being spoiled, making her heart beat even more faster. It's so much money. She felt that the bank card in her hand was a little hot, and looked at Su Chen with complicated eyes. No, but, what I gave to you, you must take it for me. With a smile, he said it without a doubt. Well, yes. Seeing his domineering tone, she replied subconsciously. Very good, this is my good girl. Looking at him like this, she couldn't hide the admiration in her eyes, and she didn't want to hide it. Chensi, I know about you. I know what you hide deep in your heart. Seeing his deep gaze, there was no doubt about it, she knew he was talking about her fetish. But there was not even a slightest of disgust on his face. She felt happy that there was someone who was willing to accept her after knowing such a thing. She always had a fear that she would be labeled as some crazy bitch or a psycho once her secret was out, but his response completely conquered her. With so many sugar cannons hitting her, Su Chen was sure his performance was October 10th. She just looked at him. At this point she did not care if the boy in front of her knew all her dark fetish. Women are actually quite complex, and Chu Chensi is one of the best among them. Some women like acting cute and coquettish, some like to act strong and domineering. Presidents, some are gentle. Warm. Virtuous, and so on. Chensi is gentle and strong. To put it bluntly, she is gentle on your usual days, but she is strong when she should be strong. With it, Su Chen is really satisfied. He even knows what she is hiding in her deepest part, that which she herself is not much clear about. How could Chensi not like such a man? Chensi. Why? Yes. This time her tone was much sweeter, as if she had eaten honey. Taking advantage of the momentum and without giving her the slightest time to react, he instantly closed the distance between them. His hands were holding her face firmly. Chensi was caught off guard by the sudden attack, but the high favorability was enough for her to not resist his advance. Before her mind could overthink, she heard his words, "Happy birthday." With a strong force, her face, which was firmly being held in his hands, was pulled to a side so as to look outside the glass window. Her mind was full of shock as she witnessed what was happening outside. On the ground, who knows when? A lot of people in black suits had long gathered. Yes, she was sure that there were at least hundreds of people. How did so many people come suddenly? Her mind was full of question marks. All the general public was long evacuated by them, while they had already prepared a lot of things on the ground. Before she could speak, she saw those people lighting up various boxes. From such a height, she wasn't able to get a clear view about what was happening down, but she was able to see the general overview. Her pupils dilated. She had a guess in her mind, but she was not sure if it was possible. Her lips started trembling. She blinked again and again to make sure if she was not dreaming. In her eyes, the boxes burst one after another. Yes, these were the aerial fireworks which she had already guessed. The entire night sky was illuminated under such effects that she had never seen before. Red, green, yellow, pink, orange, purple. All sorts of colors. Pearls, brocade, comet, croisette, waterfall. All sorts of patterns. It was not only Chu Chensi, the entire city was taken aback. It can be said that Su Chen really used up the advantage of being a rich. Second generation this time. Under the power of money, he pulled off such an exaggerated show that no matter what everyone was doing, the moment they heard such loud sounds and looked up in the sky, everyone was mesmerized in the moment. They stopped doing what they were doing and just enjoyed the beauty of such a display. Everyone was thinking, what the heck? Who bought so many fireworks? Is today some festival they are not aware of? Is today something special? Did you like my present, Chensi? She couldn't believe her eyes as tears automatically started flowing out one after another. Since childhood, never has she felt being taken so cared of, never has she felt such an affection. Her heart was in a mess, the feelings were too turbulent, the ups and downs in such a short time had made her much vulnerable. It was already dark, the moonlight was shining upon them, making them only look more ethereal. Su Chen knew the moment was perfect. The romantic song playing in the background was in perfect sync. They were already too close that he could feel her wild jumping heart. There was only one thing left to do. His lips descended and met hers as his arms locked her in an ardent embrace. This was the final stimulus that put the nail in the coffin. He could see the favorability that was constantly soaring. 97, 98, 99, 100. Life and death hand in hand, with her husband advance and retreat. As long as the host sleeps, favorability will be max. A long notification was heard in his mind. Congratulations to the host on conquering the most secretive, elusive and the best heroine of the world. Host is advised to sleep with her tonight itself to avoid any accident. Reward will be issued when the system wakes up from recovery mode. At a corner behind a tree, a man with his shirt completely torn off had a hideous face. His eyes were so red with anger that if there was a gun in his hand, he would shoot right away without a doubt. Chu Fang gritted his teeth as his nails sank in his palms and blood started oozing out. Yes, how can a protagonist run away so easily? He hid away and thought of monitoring them secretly. There was still a faint hope in his mind that Chu Chensi was coerced by that bastard Su Chen and she was trying to save him from his anger by sending him away. As an experienced mercenary, his eyesight was very sharp and he could see the details from such a distance easily. As long as Chu Chensi shouted even the slightest for help, he would jump directly and save her. So what if there are many bodyguards? He was also a top mercenary who had killed countless abroad. He would put his life on the line. In his eyes, he had long regarded Chensi as his concubine. Such a gentle and virtuous woman who doesn't dream of. But she never once shouted for help. Never once, she showed any expression of discomfort. He could see both of them sitting together so closely through the glass cabin of the Ferris wheel, their posture was so ambiguous and they laughed as if they were childhood sweethearts. Seeing them so intimate, even that faint hope in his mind dissipated, and when he saw them kissing, he completely lost it. He growled wildly like a wounded beast. Never had he felt so much hatred for anyone. Su Chen, you forced me. He took out his phone from his jeans pocket and dialed a number. Chu Fong was not the only one who was having a hard time. In a building that used to be filled with bustling of people, where every employee was once full of confidence and boasted that their company would become one of the best in the country, a woman was lying exhausted on a chair in her office. She was no other than Mei Qing. She finally realized what Su Chen meant by taking everything back he gave her. Just a day had passed and all their funds were exhausted, many properties and shares were already sold, millions of dollars like drops of water were lost in a single day. She doesn't even know if her family could pass this ordeal. Already their company's size has shrunk by 90%. The losses are too heavy and there are still many things to be taken care of. But this was not the point. Since the morning she had heard Su Chen's voice, her mind was occupied by the fact that he was spending his day out with Chu Chensi. In the past days, she had no contact with Su Chen. He never called or messaged her. Her day would start seeing his good morning message, anything she needed. He would do it immediately. With his support never had she felt worried, with his identity she easily got many connections and her family's business bloomed. Now, all of a sudden seeing him not pestering her, seeing no trace of him around her, she felt a little loss. She felt as if something was missing in her life, but she couldn't figure out what it was. She didn't know what was happening to her. She never loved Su Chen. So why was she missing his presence? Her mind was messed up. Was it an obsession? Anger of something that belonged to you being snatched away by others? Or perhaps some feelings that even she didn't know. She knew she should be worried about how to solve her company's problems, but her mind kept on thinking that Su Chen was spending some time outside with another woman. Just as she was trying to figure out what her feelings were, from outside the window she saw such a splendid firework show. Under it, the night sky was so magnificent that she remembered what Su Chen once said to her. Mei Qing, give me your heart, and I shall light up the entire sky of the Rourke City with such a grand firework that everyone who sees it will think how lucky that person is, for whom someone did such a thing. At that time, she just told him not to bother her with such cheap lies and instead help her in making her family's business expand more. At least, with that she could think of him as a friend. At that very second, she heard Su Chen's voice, "Did you like my present, Chensi?" Her chest tightened, she felt as if a pair of invisible hands were squeezing her heart. She wanted to cry but she felt too suffocated to open her mouth. She did not know what was happening to her. She could feel her vision getting darker as if she would faint right away. Chapter 24 The night belongs to only two of us *R.18 You are listening at novelfull.audio. /N. Like always, I say in mature CHS warning, underage PPL should not read this as it won't affect storyline much. Chu Chensi was so lost in her feelings that she didn't realize when Su Chen had already brought her home. All along the way, there was a foolish smile on her face without caring about anything else in the world. She was happy, she couldn't hide the expressions on her face. No, she didn't want to hide it. The system had already told Su Chen to complete everything tonight itself. Su Chen too felt that the possibility of some unforeseen accident happening was too great. What if the world doesn't allow it, or some strong person like Chu Fang's master appears and directly kidnaps Chu Chenxi? Like in those cultivation novels, where male and female lead are separated for hundreds of chapters due to X, Y, Z reasons. In most of those cases, male and female lead fails to take the final step, and with passage of time and long separations, there is always some ambiguity between them because of it. He must complete everything today itself. Su Chen stood in front of Chu Chenxi, who was looking around the room. But after seeing his playful face, she lowered her head quickly. You just carried me around, and you looked so relaxed. But why am I the only one, feeling so nervous? Her face was turning red with shame as she spoke in a stuttering voice. I am nervous too. As he said that, Su Chen hugged Chenxi's head with his hand. She was unable to react to his unusual and forceful behavior, and she stumbled back to lean against him. Chenxi, who was forced to put her ear against his muscular chest, heard his strong heartbeat. In his arms, she continued to listen to his heartbeat. She felt her body getting hotter and hotter, instead of feeling any discomfort in his embrace. Chenxi. She looked up as he called her name, and her lips were stolen by him. He hugged her tightly and kissed her passionately, pressing hard against her lips. When the long kiss was over, her expression became faint. As they kissed more and more, both of them started indulging to the fullest. Lick. Lick once again, he kissed her for the third time, leaving her helpless. Su Chen's tongue licked Chenxi's lips. As he did this, her tongue touched the tip of his tongue, as if lured by his tongue that moved invitingly. Chenxi's tongue intertwined with his as they became entangled violently. The next thing she knew, she hugged his back and they were hugging each other. At this time, his hand was also stroking her bouncy hips. Chenxi felt good by just being stroked. Naturally, her kisses became deep as she heated up. When the kiss ended and their lips slowly parted, but a string of saliva still connected them. Su Chen, who had moved to the side during the kiss, domineeringly pushed Chenxi, gently, down the bed. With such a pleasure being felt for the first time, Chenxi's reasoning was not working properly, and she got intoxicated with his strong male smell. In addition, the pleasure of being desired by him put her heart on cloud. 9. Kiss mnn, a mouthful of moi lick n. While kissing, he didn't forget to touch her beautiful breasts that fit in the palm of his hand. As he did this, her sensitive body jolted to his sudden attack. Mnnnnhhm. Hiya. Ah. So good. With a skilled technique, he pulled off her skirt and bra, and carefully caressed her nipples with his fingers. With this, Chenxi moaned. Her moans were getting louder by each passing second. She felt too strong stimulation when her nipples on both breasts were being rubbed repeatedly between the thumb and forefinger. Su Chen, so good, is this bliss? Ah, it's not a lie. Just by nipples. AAA Chenxi was engulfed in a wave of pleasure that was unthinkable under normal circumstances. Her heart and mind was already filled with Su Chen's name. She couldn't take it and she eventually climaxed, screaming uncontrollably. After climaxing, she slumped down on the bed, her body weakening. Su Chen then moved to give her even more pleasure. He took off her black panties, which he couldn't resist, and ran his fingers over her stained panties, caressing the entrance to her wet cunt. He laid down next to her and covered her mouth with a kiss. She tried to resist when he touched her private parts, but his kiss silenced her and made her fall again. Moans and grunts of man and woman reverberated through the room. Su Chen's caresses were soft but insistent, and he quickly loosened the stiffness of her vulva, making it ready to receive a man. The pleasure was neither too strong nor too weak, and it completely melted Chenxi's rational mind. Then, he put his hand on her panties and started removing it. She didn't resist anymore. On the contrary, she even raised her hips to make it easier for him to remove her panties. Seeing her like that, he stood up and went between Chensi's legs. He took off his pants and underwear. The erection of his cock was majestic, and she was surprised at its size, but her body was expecting it. Ready. The penis was placed at the entrance to her sacred part. She nodded clearly as she turned her gaze away from his. Slowly, Su Chen's cock pushed open her previously unexplored vagina. Her body trembled as she endured the sensation for the first time. When she reached for his hand to cling to him, Su Chen grabbed her hand and intertwined their fingers together. Eventually, his penis pierced her vagina membrane. Aha, slower. Please. His hips moved forward and his cock broke her virgin membrane. The blood that was proof of Chu Chensi's virginity flowed onto the sheets. You did your best. He gently caressed her face with one hand. The next second he started patting her head as she held on to the pain by clenching his other hand tightly. It was enough for her as she felt the pain easing. In addition to relieving the pain, her vagina reacted even more. Her love juices gushed out. Coo. After a few moments, he slowly pulled his penis out and then slowly thrust it back in again, just barely. After the first round of thrusting, the pleasure was greater than the pain. Ah! What the hell? I can't. It is so good. She squirmed as the pleasure numbed her from head to toe. The pleasure that came from within was incomparable to any masturbation, and her expression was enchanting. Gradually, his pace increased. The sound of hips colliding with hips echoed throughout the room. Chu Chensi unconsciously lifted her hips and shook them to match his. Coming. I'm coming. She climaxed in spite of the fact that it was her first time. She shook her body and her vagina tightened around Su Chen's cock. At this time, Su Chen stopped shaking his hips for a moment and enjoyed the pressure of her first orgasm. Yes, That was amazing. Yes. She smiled at him with a hazy expression. But then, he leaned forward and put his face to her ear. But I haven't come yet. Kya, his cock once again thrusted against the back of her vagina. She put her arms around his neck and hugged him tight as she clinged to endure the pleasure he was giving her. He was still looking at her, and her vagina responded to his gaze with love juices flowing out. Kyan. A little rough. Ah. No, he held her legs to prevent her from escaping, and repeatedly thrusted violently. The big cock rubbed the pleasant part of her vagina relentlessly. She felt an indescribable amount of intense pleasure. Su Chen. His cock pushed up to the deepest part. Then, a lot of semen was released as it completely filled her inside. This time was the best climax which came to her, and a scream naturally came out of her mouth. Immediately, her body shuddered. He looked at her for one last time using his hidden eyes. Chu Chensi. Heroine. Favorability. Max, buff to the host, will become clear once system wakes up. Mesmerized by each other's embrace, slowly both of them drifted to their dreamland. As both of them had a satisfied smile on their face. Chapter 25 The Villainess arrives. You are listening at novelfull.audio. /n. Please see paragraph comments in this and next chapter for relevant pic which is posted. It was your usual sunny morning. Most of the people were yet to wake up. Unaware to Su Chen, who was merrily sleeping with his hands and legs entangled all over Chu Chensi, a very beautiful woman had already arrived at the railway station. Her long purple hair. Irresistible eyes with such a voluptuous and seductive figure, her voice as alluring as a siren. From her dress. Sense and the noble temperament unique to an aristocrat that she exuded, one could easily make out that the identity of this woman was not simple. Nobody dared to trouble her lest they suffer wrath of her big. Background. So this is the Rourke City, she exclaimed with a bit of anticipation. Mom said that my fiancée Su Chen is a very capable person. How can she be so naive? So what if he is the heir of Su Group? Aren't all those rich second generations nothing better than some spoiled brats these days? Unless I check him with my own eyes, this marriage ain't happening. But then again, my mom is so emotional, I can't help it. Why did she have to be best friends with Su Chen's mother? Moreover, it's okay if you are best friends, but isn't it going too far to make a promise that in future our children will marry each other? There was somewhat resentment in her tone. It was going so good. This Su Chen was busy chasing after that useless Mei Qing, and as a result our moms were too embarrassed to mention to us about their self-made promise, but now what happened all of a sudden? It's too fishy. According to my investigations, that Su Chen changed so much. He got enlightened and dumped that selfish Mei Qing. Well, it's okay, girls like her belong to trash anyway, but he even invested in some stocks, and even messaged his mom that he is ready to take the responsibility of their family business. As mom's obedient daughter, how can I disobey her? But still, I need to myself check how capable my future husband is. No matter how I investigate, all his actions these days are out of my understanding. Better to see things with my own eyes. She was unaware of the fact that as a result of secretly investigating Su Chen these days, she already was filled with curiosity. If Su Chen was here, he would laugh out aloud. One of the best tricks in making a woman fall for you is to get her curious about you. Most of the women act like some sage. They have a notion in their mind that all they need is just one glance, just a little information, and they already know how bad and useless a boy is. And when they meet someone who they can't fathom, someone who doesn't act like the usual like he should according to the routine in their minds, they eventually fall. They themselves don't know when the curiosity in their mind changes to stalking to obsession to finally liking, and by the time they realize it, they are already beyond saving. Let's just walk. Su Chen's house is only some walking distance from the station. With a handbag tied around her waist, she disregarded everything around her and started walking towards the destination set in her mind. Oh yeah, I remembered I hadn't done my live stream this month. This is a good chance. She hurriedly took out her mobile phone and logged that in the live streaming app. Her account only had female followers and not allowed any males to follow. As a top and capable businesswoman well known in the capital, she had a lot of female worshippers, who wanted business tips from her. To satisfy them and have fun in free time, she made this account on the most famous live streaming app. Due to her huge popularity in the capital, her account had almost all the young girls in the county following her. Even though her account was female exclusive, but this can't stop those horny boys from making fake accounts to follow her. In an instant the chat room became lively. Chapter 26. The name is Xia Ai Chan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Random fangirl. Wow. What's this background? Such differently designed. Skyscrapers also exist in our capital. A girl with username upfangirl001 replied. Chu Fong had already moved next to Xia Ai Chan. Seeing such a hot girl walking alone, how can he sit back? With the dream to have the biggest harem and the confidence unique to a protagonist, he closed the distance. Hello, young lady, that you seem lost. Xia Ai Chan had a stiff smile plastered all over her face. Wait, I should try to hold him down. The police should be coming here shortly. I just need to buy time. Hello, my name is Xia Ai Chan. You might have heard of me, I am quite popular. She decided to act. No, I haven't heard. But now I have heard. Let's sit on the bench. It's not good to talk while standing. Chu Fong inwardly sneered, abroad I have such a big name. Every night countless chicks lined up outside my room vying for a chance to have sex with me. How can a big guy like me know about commoners like you? Yes, as a protagonist, Chu Fong thinks he is the hero of the story. Only he is allowed to be famous and show off. If others do it then they must die, and if they are females then they must be bedded. Yes, let's sit and talk. And wait till the police come to catch you. The last line Xia Ai-chan dare not speak lest the criminal runs away. She slyly hid the phone behind her arms so as the camera can still capture everything in the live stream. Unknown to Xia Ai-chan, who had already hid the mobile phone, the live chat which was seeing everything through mobile's camera was cheering crazily. Xia Ai-chan, who should had originally become a villainess and hated by all, was like a heroine in everyone's eyes, who put her life on the line for justice. Her popularity online was soaring crazily. After sitting on the bench, Xia Ai-chan decided to take the initiative so as to not let him lead the conversation. So why is your shirt torn? She gave a sweet smile. Seeing her expression, Chu Fong became even more confident of his charm. Sure enough, no woman can escape me. He cleared his throat. Actually, since I have come to this country, my luck is very bad. Nothing is going in my favor, everyone is misunderstanding me. Xia Ai-chan, who understood nothing, just nodded her head fakely to sympathize with him. She sneakily looked at her mobile chat again, thinking the online chat may give her a good idea. The chat was busy appreciating her efforts. Trillovaneverty's dear, Xia Ai-chan, you should try to make him tell us about why he became a criminal and what's with his situation. Up Fangirl 001. Chapter 27 Forcing her to make a decision. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chu Fong was tied on a chair, his body had various bruises as a result of being beaten. Up, but he still refused to cooperate. Open your mouth and obediently answer the questions or don't blame us for torturing you. Chu Fong just looked at the policewoman in front of him and started laughing foolishly. Ha ha, I am a magician. Mother, where are you? Your son wants to show magic. The interrogation team was helpless because of Chu Fong's behavior. As long as I act stupid and blabber. On some stupid stuff, I would be treated as a mental patient and won't be charged against crimes. Once we visit mental hospital for examination, nobody can stop me from running away. Hey. Don't pretend that you are stupid. I know you are trying to deceive us. Luo Ruer's face was already twitching. Little sister, do you also like magic tricks at night? Chu Fong still acted stupid with a naive smile on his face. Captain Lu Ruer, we have already beaten him so much but he is still acting like this. I am afraid he is suffering from some mental problem. Said one of the accompanying interrogating officer. No, he is pretending. Lu Ruer's face was cold. Oh, what's with this stupid policewoman? Although she is pretty but she is too annoying. I get it, she is stressed that she is getting old but she is still a virgin. You have my condolences, but don't worry, since I am here, I will let you feel the passion of the youth. Your name is Chu Fong, right? Seeing no response, Lu Ruer smiled slyly. She moved closer to his ears and whispered slowly, Tisk tsk, it seems that your heart is too broken after Su Chen stole your sister Chenxi from you. Bang. Chu Fong suddenly got up from the chair and broke free from the restraints he was tied to. Seeing him breaking ropes so easily, the surrounding policemen immediately pinned him down. His eyes were bloodshot, as he glared deeply at Lu Ruer. How do you know about Chenxi and Su Chen? His voice was loud and crisp. He finally spoke up. I knew it, actually trash like you don't need to pretend to be stupid, they are already born stupid to begin with, sneered Lu Ruer. Chu Fong just stared at her, then laughed loudly. I understand everything now. I got it, this bitch is a lackey of that bastard Su Chen, that's why she knows about Chenxi. Do you think you can hold me here? There was a sarcastic smile on Chu Fong's face. My people should have already arrived in this country, they must be trying to get me out, you can't keep me locked up here, you don't have the strength. This policewoman's name is Lu Ruer, right? Becoming Su Chen's lackey is the biggest mistake of your life. This is a police station, not your home where you can come and go so easily. Lu Ruer suddenly had a bad premonition in her heart. No matter how much you try, it's useless. Chu Fong still maintained his sarcastic tone. Before Lu Ruer could order to torture Chu Fong once again, a police officer hurriedly ran inside the interrogation room. "Captain, it's a call from the headquarters." "Huh, it's here. Answer the call, stupid woman." Chu Fong started laughing loudly. "Hello. Officer Lu Ruer, you have caught the wrong guy. Chu Fong is a good citizen who has nothing to do with the case. He must be released right away." "But he is a mercenary from abroad with a big gang. Give me a day and all his information will be out," spoke Lu Ruer righteously. "Don't you understand? Release him immediately. I am telling you, he is someone who knows the chief of the police in the capital. Ordinary officers like you just need to obediently follow the orders." After a minute the call ended, she put the phone in her pocket and looked deeply at Chu Fong. After a moment of silence, she finally asked, "How? Why did you know someone in the headquarters?" If Su Chen was here, he would sigh. "Ah, overpowered protagonists halo. Stupid women like you need to learn to be gentle. Didn't you hear the phone? I have a connection with your chief. If you get in my way, who knows if someone ends up getting fired from their job." Without giving the officers time to react, Chu Fong directly broke the handcuffs tied to him and stood up domineeringly. "Lu Ruer, is it right? I have decided that I will teach you a lesson today itself. The moment you come out of the police station I am gonna kidnap you. I am gonna take you to some abandoned house, then I will tie you to the bed. Then I am gonna fuck you as you scream loudly, your tears will fall as I will continue to ravish you, ha ha ha. At that time you will curse Su Chen for making me as his enemy." Seeing the dangerous glint in Chu Fong's eyes, Lu Ruer subconsciously stepped back. "No, this person is too dangerous. He is definitely gonna kidnap me. I must not go out of the police station at all costs. Wait, I have read some novels recently to get an idea about these so-called heroes and villains. Usually in such a situation they call it something, what was it? Ah yes, plot armor. I won't be so unlucky, right?" There was still some hope in Lu Ruer's heart, as her mind was full of resistance. But reality was sure to disappoint her. How can an ordinary heroine fight against the overpowered luck of a protagonist? The phone that she put in the pocket rang again. Lu Ruer's heart tightened. Under Chu Fong's predator-like eyes, with trembling hands she answered the call. Without giving her any chance to speak, the other party spoke first. "Officer Lu Ruer, the superiors are very disappointed with your work. It is taking us a lot of effort to clear all the misunderstandings against Chu Fong on the social media. After a review, we think you need at least 1 month's break so that you can realize the shortcomings in you. We have already sent the notice for your mandatory leave to your branch. Please don't visit the police station until your leave is over. Hopefully you can reflect upon your mistakes and become a righteous police officer." The phone was hung up before Luo Ruer could utter even a single word. "It seems the lady will be going home early." Chu Fong, who heard everything, couldn't hide his lecherous eyes. Fuck, this is the damn plot armor. This Chu Fong is going to kidnap me. Yuwu, this lady wants to cry." Lu Ruer's mood was down. She was afraid that she won't be able to do anything, and would be abducted forcefully. Suddenly, the personal phone of Lu Ruer, which she had kept in her other pocket, rang. Chu Fong, who had already decided his plan, no longer paid attention and walked out haughtily. He just needed to wait outside and arrange a jeep. As soon as Lu Ruer comes out, he will directly drug her and put her on the back seat and drift away. After seeing Chu Fong, who went out so arrogantly, Lu Ruer was scared. After taking a deep breath she answered the phone. "Hello. Is this the righteous officer Lu Ruer?" There was a familiar tone, but she couldn't make out who it was. "Hello. Yes, I am Lu Ruer. Who is speaking?" "It's me, Su Chen." Su Chen was enjoying a cup of coffee. Next to him, Xia Ai Chan was sitting and accompanying him. She was smiling occasionally. Her expressions were like that of a villainess who felt satisfied after telling the main villain the details of a big conspiracy. Lu Ruer's pupil dilated. You are also a bad guy. She was instantly alarmed. Don't waste my time, I already know everything. The righteous lady is gonna be tied and forced on the bed. Such a tragic ending. Sighs, if you want to escape, come to my house. Oh yes, remember to bring a short skirt with black stockings. Ah, and also a bunny. Cosplay outfit. It's not like you have an option anyway unless you really want to become that Chu Fong's concubine. Haha. The call was hung up abruptly by Su Chen. Lu Ruer kept sitting silent and looked at the wall in front of her as many thoughts flashed through her mind. Her mind was struggling to make a decision. After 10 minutes, she gave a deep sigh. He's right, it's not like I have an option anyway. A/N. First 10 chs finally re-edited and some things have been removed which were unnecessary, but the general outline of the story is still the same. Chapter 28 Flashback. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xia Ai Chan was standing at the door. Su Chen, who was blissfully sleeping with Chu Chensi in his arms, was forced awake by the constant ringing of the door bell. Ugh, who is it so early? Chensi, whose sleep was shaken by Su Chen's movements, opened her blurry eyes. You stay in the bed, I will check who is there. Not giving her a chance to refute, Su Chen put on his slippers and headed to the door. The moment he opened the door, he was taken aback. A gorgeous lady stood there patiently. After the door was opened, like it was a natural reflex, her eyes locked with his as his locked with hers. Those purple hairs and that slanting willow-like eyebrows. There was no doubt about who she was. Su Chen was already familiar with this girl. Since their mothers were best friends, in the capital, they often had various encounters. When they were small, they even played together sometimes. Hot figure, noble temperament, elegance, natural charm, she had everything a girl could want going for her. Overall, Su Chen had a good impression of this girl. But this was not the point. The thing was that in the original storyline the identity of this girl was not simple. Yes, she is the so-called villainess as mentioned by some of the readers. After Mei Qing was taken by Chu Fong, as a filial daughter, and seeing Su Chen being single once again, she honored her mother's promise to tie the knot with me. But who could have thought the day they just got married, Chu Fong, in order to deal a decisive blow, killed our parents. Seeing his family, his company, his everything disappear in front of his eyes, Su Chen in the original storyline suffered from depression and fell mentally ill. Shortly, he died thereafter, and that was the beginning. Xia Ai Chan blamed everything upon Chu Fong and the heroines around him. She went on a crazy murder spree and did everything she could to take even the slightest of revenge. With various shameless and despicable tricks, in the end, she managed to kill 4 out of 7 heroines, forcing Chu Fong to personally shoot at her. Now that Su Chen remembers the original storyline, he remembers his past 4 failed attempts, how every time he intentionally or unintentionally messed up the plot the first time he failed. When he saw Chu Fong was about to succeed, he directly killed Mei Qing because how could he let himself be cucked after transmigrating? Even if it was just in name, Mei Qing was still his fiancée at that time. Only those dense, wimpy shounen protagonists deserved to be cucked, and he was sure that he was neither of them. The second time he thought he could avoid everything, but one night being drunk, he accidentally slept with a heroine who was about to marry Chu Fong, forcing Chu Fong to directly kill him. The third time, he decided to directly run away and enjoy his rich second-generation life in a far-away country even before the story was about to officially begin, but the airplane he had boarded was struck by lightning, leading to yet another restart. And the final time, how could he forget it? He was very careful, and in the end when he was about to send the strongest assassins he had hired to kill Chu Fong. Chu Fong's master who knows from where appeared in front of him and directly struck his heart, leading to the current restart. It was false to say that Su Chen had no anger. Who in his right mind would willingly want to give away all the beauties and stretch out his neck for someone to chop, just after he transmigrated? Why, what happened? Did you get so enchanted by my beauty that you can't even speak? Oh. Come on, we are already familiar to begin with. This is the first time that I am seeing such a peculiar expression on your face. The eyes of Xia Ai-chan turned round as her eyebrows sharpened, trying to guess what Su Chen's mind was preoccupied with. Her words quickly pulled Su Chen back to reality. Sure enough, like me she too is narcissistic. Xia.ai, no, Xier, what brings you here? Hearing him, there was a faint smile on her face. At least you remember what you used to call me. Of course now that you have stopped chasing after that stupid Mei Qing, it's natural for us to fulfill our mother's promise. I am here to check what's going on with you. Xier's words were direct and straight to the point. Her character was like that. Whatever she had in her heart she would say directly. She won't entangle in some worldly games and keep you on the edge of suspense. Ah, I see. Come inside first. You must be tired. If I remember correctly, with your old habits, you must have come by public train since you don't like to spend money lavishly. Whatever the situation was, Su Chen decided it was best to invite her in first, and then talk. He was also curious about what was the situation with this girl. A/N. Now the PPL who had commented earlier that MC was cucked during the previous 4 resets, I hope their question is answered. It wasn't MC but his predecessor in the original plot. As for some comments who asked if there will be Yuri. No, in my eyes, girls sleeping with each other without MC is no different from them cucking and cheating upon MC no matter whatsoever the reason. Damn, since I was reading top-tier Providence and the villain who robbed heroines, I hardly got time to write. If this CH managed to get like 50 plus comments I will take out time to write one more CH today. Chapter 29 Rebirth. Fated enemies, you are listening at novelfull.audio. After catching up to some past details with each other, Su Chen knew it was time to get serious. Chu Chensi came and served both of them a cup of tea. Xier looked at Chu Chensi then looked at Su Chen again, as if not believing that the girl who served her was Chensi. Her gaze repeatedly shifted to and fro between Chensi and Su Chen. The abnormality was quickly noticed by Su Chen. Since there is something wrong with the system and the heroines can hear my voice, is it possible it's the same for the villainess? Chensi, you are too good at deceiving. From outside you look so gentle, but who knew you were so fierce in bed last night? Your stamina is really like a tigress who can go all night. I am very satisfied. Haha, we will try new poses next time. Hearing Su Chen's voice, Chu Chensi who was standing next to them blushed like a hot tomato. Master Warehouse, what bad things are you thinking? Chu Chensi exclaimed while stomping her tender feet. In order to hide her embarrassed face going red at a visible pace, she directly ran away to her room. Seeing the girl running away like this, Xia Ai.Chan's mouth was wide open. A/N. Her nickname, Xier, will be used to address the villainess as it's easy. Seeing Xier's dumbfounded face and her expressions after thinking about Chensi in his mind, Su Chen's guess further solidified that she too can hear his voice. Like a victor he opened his mouth, there was a bit of smugness on his face. Xier, so you also hear my, but before he could complete his sentence, he was interrupted quickly by Xier who without wasting any time moved closer and sat next to him on the sofa. Su Chen, are you also a rebirth like me? There was anticipation in Xier's tone that couldn't be hidden as her big round eyes twinkled, trying to unveil any mystery in front of her. Are you also a rebirth like me? Even though it was a single sentence, the impact it carried was quite huge. Su Chen's words were left in his mouth as it was now his time to have his mouth wide open like Xier, a few seconds ago. Fuck, is she a rebirth? All the rebirth stories of those immortal emperors, empresses which Su Chen had read before transmigration flashed through his mind. It's okay, calm down Su Chen, you are a dignified villain. Let's first see what's with the situation. I can't tell anyone things like system shop etc. From my experience of reading novels, the system is the ultimate cheat which can arouse the greed of anyone. Must never tell my secret. After some quick thinking, Su Chen's face once again retained its calm. Sierra, why do you think I am reborn? Very carefully. Su Chen didn't deny Sierra's words. He knew it was time for his world. Deceiving, award-winning acting skills to shine. Seeing Su Chen not denying her words, the smile on Sierra's face further widened. Hee, don't try to be smart with me. I already know everything. I had been keeping tabs on what you were secretly doing. Suddenly investing in stocks and earning those millions secretly, finally telling Mom that you will take control of the family's business, slapping that bitch Mei Qing on the face, ruining her family and... She narrowed the distance between them and slowly whispered in his ears. And killing Mo Wanshi. Also when I came, I met a guy named Chu Fan on the street, who was crying that you stole his Chensi. All your actions are in complete contrast to your character. People don't change overnight. After telling her reason, with a triumphant smile, Sierra lazily stretched her back on the sofa. You are right, nothing can escape Sierra's eyes. Indeed, I am a rebirth. There was no change in Su Chen's expression. He was very well aware of the fact that whoever opens her heart first, will lose the initiative. It was a common principle he learned in those boring business meetings. So the question is, are you on my side? Su Chen's eyes met hers. The intentions of the other side must be made clear. What a stupid question. I had and will always be on your side, husband. We must take our revenge. I still remember so clearly. That day when we got married and went home. The dead bodies of our parents were lying on the door as Chu Fang laughed at us. We were too helpless and could only watch as he took everything from us. After you died because of the depression, I killed those 4 out of 7 bitches, but sadly I was also killed in the end by that Chu Fang. But who would have thought we will be reborn? Sierra's eyes became sharp. The intention to take revenge was clearly written all over her face. Oh, I got it. She is Xia Ai Chan from the original storyline. She must have taken me as Su Chen, whom she married before I transmigrated in this novel world. I slowly checked her using my hidden eyes. Xia Ai Chan, Sierra, villainess, favorability equals 90, thinks that host is her husband from before her rebirth, whom she must always follow. As a filial daughter, she is filled with a deep sense of virtue. Her only goal in this life is to take revenge upon Chu Fang. Regards host as her only ally in the world, will never betray. And when I heard you killed that Mo Wanshi, I felt so good. I wonder what Chu Fang's face was when you greened him. Husband, your plan is awesome. I can already see it. You plan to make Chensi, Mei Qin your slave, right? Chensi is a sweet girl who previously never harmed us. It's good you already stole her from that bastard Chu Fang. Dealing with them is okay, but those last 3, yes, those 3 women's are not easy to deal with. Sierra's shoulders trembled upon thinking about the 3 women. Su Chen knew she was referring to the last 3 heroines. He was very well aware of the fact that dealing with them was a pain in ass. One was Prime Minister's daughter. Their family was the only one which could rival the Su group in the country. The other was the young miss of a hidden marshal arts family. They had many of their family members in various high positions inside the military, and the last one was Mo Wanshi's sister, who was the deputy leader of Chu Fang's international mercenary group. Like Mo Wanshi, she too was infatuated with Chu Fang. Each of them had the ability to shake the Su family. It was the reason Su Chen didn't directly deal with the heroines after learning about the eavesdropping bug from the system. Like someone whom they could confide upon, Sierra was like a bird merrily chirping. She told Su Chen about how some days back she suddenly woke up in this new body after she was shot dead by Chu Fang. She was shocked when she realized that she came back in time, and after confirming various things she was sure that she was a rebirth like in those fiction stories and novels. As Su Chen's wife in the original storyline, she quickly noticed the changes in Su Chen's behavior and had various suspicions. Was he too a rebirth like her? Were husband and wife given a chance together to take revenge against that bastard Chu Fang? Thus, to confirm her thoughts she quickly arrived at Su Chen's house. Oh. I forgot to tell you something important. What? Su Chen was already surprised upon learning so many new things. The policewoman who arrested Chu Fong was Lu Ruer. Seeing her righteous face always annoyed me. I wish we can humiliate her and remove her mask of hypocrisy, but at that very moment. While they were about to finish the tea, Chu Fong's threats to Lu Ruer started ringing in Su Chen's and heroines' minds. Interesting. What interesting? Sierra noticed that Su Chen's face, which was calm before, had his lips arched up. Your husband is very capable, Su Chen playfully winked at her. Since favorability was already so high, and such a hot beauty was already at the door, only a fool would refuse it. It will be the biggest shame as a villain to not savor the beauty who willingly walked inside the tiger's den. You are right regarding that dumb policewoman, Lu Ruer. Her mask of hypocrisy must be torn off. As we humiliate her. After waiting for a few minutes, under Sierra's expectant eyes, Su Chen took out his mobile phone from his pocket. Hello. Is this the righteous officer, Lu Ruer? Lu Ruer, who was sitting in despair in the police station, was surprised upon Su Chen's call. The fear that Chu Fong will soon come in a jeep, drug her and abduct her on her way back home, and forcefully take her chastity was already making her scalp numb. Because of the mandatory 1 month's leave forced upon her by her superiors, her mind was already anxious and desperate. After the call was disconnected abruptly, all she remembered was Su Chen's playful voice ringing in her head. If you want to escape, come to my house, remember to bring a short skirt with black stockings. Ah, and also a bunny cosplay outfit. She gave a deep sigh as her anxious eyes were flooded with helplessness. A/N. I wanted to read some obsessive love, villain stories on Novelpia for some time, but sadly my card was always rejected, maybe because it has to be Korean, but it doesn't matter cause I found a good free translation site finally for Novelpia novels. Hahaha, I will read few of them so may not post for some days. Ednl.co. Chapter 30 Getting into Action. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After threatening Lu Ruer on the phone, Su Chen was in high spirits. Both he and Sierra started discussing various ways to counter the remaining heroines. The more Su Chen listened to Sierra, the more he admired her. She really deserved the title of villainess. Threatening the heroine with her parents and then making her your slave. Shooting her directly from afar using a sniper rifle, forcing her friend with various means to call her to a party, then making her friend stab her with a knife from behind, giving her a sense of betrayal, framing the heroine as a global terrorist, kidnapping her, then making her a prostitute at a local bar. Ideas one after another like a diligent student who was reciting a poem kept coming out of Sierra's mouth. Okay, but the remaining girls have a strong background and can't be dealt with so easily as you mentioned, Su Chen spoke softly. Plus don't forget the protagonist's overpowered luck. I first need to raise my strength as soon as possible, Su Chen exclaimed inwardly. I need to be careful when I mention some heroine's name in my mind, it's better to talk about it directly. Else the heroines may eavesdrop and become alert of my actions. Since you are in the capital, Sierra, can you investigate the G family? Sure, I was also thinking the same. Their business is big like ours, and the politicians generally have a lot of dark stuff going on behind. Corruption is very common these days. Since I remember many things from the past, I can help you find a lot of evidence against them. When you come to the capital, we will deal with her directly. Sierra was excited thinking about revenge. At the end of the discussion it was finally concluded that Sierra will block and pull down the G family in the capital. Ji Ruming, the only daughter of the Prime Minister. She had just returned to the country. Her mom and dad were once saved by Chu Fong's master abroad. She is destined to stand on the opposite side. Be sure not to arouse any unwanted attention. Spoke Su Chen in a caring tone. After all, the girl was already loyal to you. Showing some affection may boost her mentality. Yes, I know. I will be careful, Sierra's heart felt a sudden surge of warmth upon receiving Su Chen's worry. Some words. Even though they lacked an emotional foundation in her eyes, they were already married for eternity. Which wife won't like her husband's sweet words? Okay, I must go now. You are going so fast. Yes, I have a lot of things to take care of. I only hurriedly came to confirm if you were also reborn like me. Sierra, actually it's more accurate to say that we regressed. Oh, it's more or less the same. It doesn't differ much in my eyes. Sure enough, it's hard to change a concept in a female's mind when she has already learned it. Take care. After putting the cup of tea on the table and adjusting her purse around the waist, she gracefully left the house. With one arm, Su Chen supported his chin as he put his right leg over his left leg, relaxing completely on the sofa. He started pondering. So let's see. Today should be the auction where Chu Fong finds a strong ancient elixir. With this elixir, my strength can directly be raised by 2 levels. Let's snatch his chance first. But that's not it. At the auction, there is also a very vicious poison in the form of some powder, which no one knows. Since we are at it, let's fish out the martial art heroine. That martial art heroine is a very cunning and smart woman. It's gonna be interesting to fool her. So let's begin the plan, spoke Su Chen mischievously. Today is a very interesting day. There is going to be an auction in the afternoon. This auction is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for all martial artists. A medicinal powder is gonna be auctioned. It's the legendary medicinal powder. Just ingesting a slight pinch of it, and your strength can directly raise by 2 boundaries. Now I remember, wasn't there Zhu Qing? The heroine belonging to the hidden martial art family. If this thing gets into the hands of Zhu Qing, oh gosh, their family strength will become so strong. Who in the country will be able to oppose them? I have less money at hand right now, as I invested almost all of it in various business projects and stocks. I wonder if I can win that medicinal powder. After all, there's no chance that heroines like Zhu Qing will show up out of the blue at auction, right? With this, that Zhu Qing should take the bait, right? Su Chen laughed out aloud. He took out his mobile phone from his pocket and sent a message to the captain of his security team. The message was short and simple: block Chu Fong at all cost. He must never be allowed to visit the auction house. In a big mansion situated at the top of a mountain, a woman as beautiful as a fairy was meditating deeply. She suddenly opened her eyes. This medicinal powder, I must get it. With this my family will become very strong. Also, after taking it, my strength will directly soar to the Grandmaster level. Oh foolish Su Chen, do you think you can win if you know the plot? Once I become strong, I won't be afraid of anyone. I have already investigated. Chu Fong's aunt is a member of our hidden family. His aunt was like a sister to my mother. When I was small, because of my mother's busy schedule, she used to look after me. I know she will definitely stand on Chu Fong's side, as she doted upon Chu Fong a lot when he was small. I will stand on her side since she is like a mother to me. Moreover, Chu Fong is a protagonist and Su Chen is a villain. In all the stories the villain always loses, and the hero always wins. I can already hear Su Chen's thoughts. This was God's help to me. God is on our side and he wants our side to win. That's why I can hear all that Su Chen thinks. No matter how much Su Chen conspires, that he can't win against us. So what if Chu Fong will have a harem in future? Strong men are destined to have many wives. Zhu Qing laughed crazily. After a minute she calmed down and called her maid to inform all the elders of an emergency family meeting in the ancestral hall. The maid's actions were swift, and within an hour all the elders had already arrived in the ancestral hall. Due to her identity as Patriarcha's eldest daughter, everyone showed their respect and stood in their respective positions. The Patriarch had gone somewhere already, so in his absence all the power was already tightly in Zhu Qing's grasp. Without wasting any time, Zhu Qing informed them of important things. Everyone listen, our family's secret spies have just informed me that a very important medicinal powder will be auctioned at Rourke City's auction house. The medicinal powder can raise our strength directly by 2 boundaries. Hearing her, the breathing of all the elders present hastened. Many of them who had been stuck at the same level for many years and were getting old wanted a breakthrough to prolong their life. Their eyes shined upon hearing such hot news. Everyone wanted a pie of it. I don't need to tell how important such a thing is to our family. First elder, open the family treasury and take out all the cash. Second elder, third elder, prepare the helicopters. Rourke City is 100 kilometers away from us, we must reach there before afternoon. Yes, yes, both the elders bowed down and hurriedly started preparations. It was as Su Chen had expected, the fish had already taken the bait. Can the fish escape from being hooked? Okay, now a quick poll, the next heroines should be. Vote with paragraph comment. Point 1, Lolly. Point 2, MILF. Point 3, with thick thighs. Point 4, perfect waifu.